Hello, I'm Kevin. Welcome to my channel. Today's story is about me and my grandfather's side of the family being Native American. So, of course, I've been Native American all my life, but I don't think I really knew about it until, oh, the mid 90s, maybe, early 90s. Um, the only time I remember anything about being Native American was my stepfather when we were living in Denver. Um, uh, and my sister and I were going to go visit my dad in Oregon. And my stepfather said, "You're going to go see those Okie Indians." I didn't know what that was, really. I thought it was, yeah, like I said, I didn't know anything about being Native American. My grandfather was born in Oklahoma, and my grandmother was born in Arkansas, so I guess that's where he might have gotten the Okie. Anyway, the name of our tribe is the Osage, and they're located about 50 miles north of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Um, the first time I went to the reservation was in uh, June, I think it was 1997. I was living in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I decided I'd take a long weekend and drive to the reservation. Well, I was supposed to leave at noon, but I didn't leave until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a 10-hour drive. So I got down there at 2 o'clock in the morning. My dad and his wife had come to the reservation the last week of June to dance with the tribe. They have a ceremonial dance the last week of June every year. And so I was going to surprise my dad. So I talked to his wife, Linda, and told her, and she told me where they're staying. And so I knocked on the door of their hotel room, and my dad goes, "Who the heck's knocking on that door?" And she came to the door and opened it, and he goes, "What the heck are you doing here?" And so I slept there, I in another bed or on the floor or something. And the next day, it was on Saturday, we went over to this building with, I think it was like a cafeteria setting, and my dad and his grandson Lobo and all these other distant relatives were getting changed into their dance attire. It was very interesting. They danced for about an hour and a half. I think they started at 2 o'clock, and then they danced again on Saturday night. Well, the dances actually start on Thursday. They dance for an hour and a half on Thursday afternoon, Thursday night, Friday afternoon, Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. And then they dance again on Sunday from like 10 to 5. So I went and watched my dad dance twice. And then on Sunday, instead of him dancing, he decided to take me out on a little tour. We went over to all of his distant cousins' homes and introduced me to them. And then we took a drive to a cemetery where a lot of my ancestors, were buried. And then and then I drove back to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And still, it took about 10, 11 hours to drive back. It was a very long, short weekend. So that was in 1997. I went out there again. This time it wasn't a surprise. I started going pretty much every year, starting in 1999. I went every year through 2010. And again, go out there and watch my dad and my nephew, his grandson, and several other male dancers dance, and the women dance also, but it's more for the guys. So the on Thursday afternoons, the first dance, someone who's never a male who's never danced before, and he's coming into the dances for the first time. He comes in. It's a big ceremony. He stands up at the front of the arena with someone who's speaking for him, and then he has all of his relatives who were there in Oklahoma at the time stand up next to him, and the person talks about this person and how they're relate. I mean, he talks about this person's family and father and grandfather, etc., etc., and then the person coming in goes out into the center of the arena where the dance drum is at. They have, 8-10 guys sitting around the drum, and then on the outside of that they have 20 or so women who are singers. And anyway, you go out and you place a gift on the drum, and you come back, and then you have Pendleton blankets, and you give one to the person who's talking for you, and then there's the 3 other guys you give it to. I can't remember what they are right now. And then someone brings up an eagle feather, and you bend over, and they put this eagle feather up on top. And that's the only time that you have to stand up in front of everyone. As long as you have that eagle feather in up here, you never have to do that again. And you can always come and dance with the tribe. So in 2007, my dad said, "I sure hope you can dance me sometime before I pass away." And so he gave me this book, everything there is to know about the dances, and what you need to dance with, all the regalia. And so it's expensive. Everything needs to be handmade and by a Native American, and it takes a while. So I met with a seamstress there in the reservation, and she gave me a list of the materials I would need. She took measurements of me, and she took all the measurements and gave me a list of materials I would need. I decided that since there's 7 dances, that I would have made for me 7 shirts. And so when we got back to Portland, we went down to Joanne Fabric and picked out material for my shirts. Well, in October of 2008, my mother's mother passed away, and the Mother's Day in 2009, my mother gave my sister and I some money because there was nothing in the will for the grandchildren, and so I used my money to put together my regalia. So we went down in 2009. I was all excited. I had a naming ceremony, and we had, 30, 40 people attended my naming ceremony, and the direct translation for my name, name app for my naming ceremony just means firstborn son. So my Indian name is Mita Inca, is firstborn son. Okay. So I had all my regalia stuff together for the 2010 dances, but my dad passed away in April of 2010, and we all went to the dances, and to show us in mourning, I guess, you're not supposed to dance for a year. And so we all went to the dances, and the only person who danced in our group was his grandson. He only danced one dance on Saturday night, so he could. My dad was cremated, and he sprinkled some of my dad's remains on the dance floor, which is dirt. So I didn't go out in 2011 because I had surgery, and so in 2012 I went to the dances for the first time, and I danced. I didn't dance all the dances. I danced on Thursday afternoon and Thursday night, and I woke up Friday morning with a lot of swelling in my legs. Of course, the last week of June in Oklahoma, it's 95 degrees or higher with 95% humidity, and my legs didn't care for that, so I didn't dance at all on Friday or Saturday morning. But I really wanted to dance on Saturday night because starting on Thursday, there's 100 guys or so, and each dance after that, the number gets bigger and bigger. So by Saturday night, there's probably 400 men dancing, and so I call that the big show. I wanted to dance in the big show, and I did. And then, so as I'm sitting on the bench after my first dance, I had a little chat with my dad's grandson and the other guys who were dancing with our group. And I said, well, I didn't get to dance with Dad. I got to dance with you guys, and you guys to dance with him. And so that's going to have to be good enough. So then I didn't go back to the dances at all until 2024. Lots of things going on in my life, so I didn't go. But we went, Carrie and I flew to Iowa to visit her mother, and then Carrie's mom is very much into Native American stuff, and so I invited her to come down to the dances. So we drove her car, a 10-hour drive, maybe it was only an 8-hour drive from Iowa. Anyway, we drove down to the reservation, and we stayed at a nice Airbnb, and then we got down there on Wednesday night, and the dances started Thursday afternoon. So Thursday morning I get up, go into the shower, and I slipped, and I fell, and I messed up my knee. We had to call 911 to help me stand up, because I didn't think that Carrie and her mother could help me stand up. And I didn't know how bad I messed up my knee, my right knee. Paramedics got there, they helped me to stand up. Actually, they stood me up. They put a sheet under my armpits, and they just kind of lifted me up. And through some questioning, no broken bones, I could walk, so I didn't go to the hospital, but I couldn't hardly walk, let alone dance. I didn't dance in 2024. We went to every dance, watched everyone else dance, enjoyed on all the festivities. Took Carrie's mom out on a drive. There's a wildlife, a bison preserve. It's like 2 million acres of free-ranging bison, and we saw them. And if you watch any cooking shows, the pioneer woman, Ree Drummond, she lived just outside Pawhuska, Oklahoma, and that's where the reservation is at. And well, they have a building with a restaurant and a gift shop. I think they even have a hotel in town. So we went to all those places, and then we went to the museum and saw the Veterans Memorial area, and then we drove back to Oklahoma, back to Iowa. Last year, 2025, we flew to Oklahoma, and Carrie's friend Jean flew to Oklahoma also. She was coming from a different area. Again, we stayed in a nice Airbnb, and we didn't arrive until midday on Thursday. So I didn't dance Thursday. Didn't dance Thursday at all. On Friday, I got all my gear together, and we were getting me ready to dance, and I couldn't find any moccasins anywhere, and so I'm just flabbergasted. Well, on one of our relatives, Jimmy, he was getting ready for hip surgery. He couldn't walk. He goes, well, what size do you wear? And I said, 11. He goes, you can use mine. Well, by that time, it was too late for me to get dressed for Friday's dances, so I went out on Saturday night, and I danced on Saturday night with Jimmy's moccasins, and I had lost some weight since 2012, and the belt that I had was now too big to go around my waist, or my waist was too small. Well, someone had their leather punch, so they put it on me and said, how's that feel? I said, that feels good. And they punched some holes. Well, when we got to the dance arena, I got out of the car and stood up, and my belt went south. It fell off my stomach. Well, there wasn't much I could do at that point except hold it up. And luckily I only had a fan in one hand, but for the next 2.5 hours, I stood there. Every time their dance got up there, I had to hang on to my belt so it wouldn't fall down. There's a picture I'll include at the very end of the dances on Saturday. I'm standing there holding my belt up with 2 hands. Brought all that stuff home, and we're planning on going to the dances again in this June, so I will have that stuff repaired and ready to go. So now Jimmy has a son. His name is Cody, and he is coming into the dances this year, so he'll have that ceremony on Thursday afternoon. Well, the same seamstress that put together my stuff is putting together his stuff. And my belt that I wear is 5 inches wide, the beaded part, 5 inches wide and 44 inches long, and sits on top of a leather belt that's 7 inches wide. Well, the beaded part of my belt has 48,000 little tiny seed beads. The design was mine, and my Aunt Theta made me my belt on a loom, and I was very appreciative. All I had to do was buy the beads. So we got back from the dances, and I think it was sometime in September, I get a call from uh, Donna, who is the seamstress, and she said she told Cody about me beading on a loom, and he wanted to know if I would bead him a belt. And so we took Donna out as the middle person, and I spoke to Cody directly, and he sent me his design. His belt is the beaded part of his belt isn't as big as mine was. His is only 2 inches wide and 30 inches long, which still has about 3,000 beads in it. So I started making that, and I still have to do some weaving of the threads to finish it off, but I'll be doing that here shortly. But right now it's not raining, so I'm going to be doing some work outside. Anyway, so in the early 90s, my dad sent his children forms to fill out so we could be registered with the tribe. I have 2 Osage cards. One is from the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and it lists my degree of Indian blood. Again, I don't have much. I think my great grandfather was full blood, or not. Anyway, so I've got 1/32 Native American blood, is what they say. And so, registered with this tribe, and from that point forward, I didn't really use anything from the tribe. I live in Oregon. The tribe is in Oklahoma, and so I can't use any of their. I can't go to their doctors or anything like that. But there's a Native American clinic just north of Salem, Oregon. When I moved back here to Oregon in 1998, I started going to Native American clinic. It didn't cost me anything. I got prescriptions and medical care and dental care, and so it worked out pretty good. I think that's about it for now. This video is going to be this story a little bit longer. So I'm planning on going back in June and standing next to Cody as his family. Again, Jimmy's mother, her name was Jinx, Jinx, and Jinx and my dad were like second or third cousins. We're all related somehow, and so I'll be standing up with Cody as a family member. So, okay, I think I'm pretty much done for now. Hope you enjoyed my story, and I think the next stories I'll do will be more about salmon fishing. Okay, thank you.